Today we're going to talk about how prayer can actually lead to further discipleship opportunities. Are you ready? Because it's time.
You're listening to the Church Digital Sidekick Podcast, part of the TCD Podcast Network.
Hey heroes, my name is Tom Pounder, and this is the Church Digital Sidekick Podcast. This is the podcast where we bring on ministry leaders and we talk about how you can do ministry more effectively in this very digital and online world. And today I've got my friend Sly King back on the podcast, and he's talking about launching a prayer time 24/7, 365 to minister to people and to serve them and equip them to grow in their faith. How are they doing this? What are they doing? That's what we're going to talk about today. It's a great conversation with Sly, as always. But before we do that, I want to highlight the Church Digital. At thechurch.digital, that's the website, thechurch.digital, we've got tons of coaching, cohorts, we've got tons of blogs and podcasts, all designed to help you in your digital and online ministry, whether it's online, metaverse, whatever it is, gaming. We've got people on there that are encouraging you in that context. So if you need some encouragement in your online ministry, go to thechurch.digital today and be encouraged in your online ministry. All right, so let's get into the conversation with Sly King, talking about prayer leading to other things and how they're serving other people in their community and beyond to help them grow in their faith. All right, with me right now is my friend Sly King. Sly, how are you?
Tom, I am doing great, man. Surviving through this busy time of the year, dull kind of time too. If you're a big football fan, right? But I'm looking forward to of course the Birmingham Stallions hopefully repeating, even though
Yeah.
the league is merged. I'm looking forward to that. So I'm excited. March 30th.
Yeah, see, I was gonna wonder about you. Like, I know you were into the Birmingham Stallions, because we follow each other on Twitter and all that kind of stuff. But so are you a baseball guy at all or no?
You know, yes and no. Like I guess you say low key, maybe Braves fan
Okay.
since they're next door. But I don't have a team that I'm just that passionate about. Like I watch them. I will really get into baseball during, we talk about, the latter half of the season. You get to the All-Star weekend, you move to all that kind of stuff. I really start getting into watching it, but it's a long season, man.
Yeah.
Baseball, it's long, man. But I know you are. I know you are.
Yeah.
So who's your team?
My team's the Nats, the Washington Nationals. I grew up at a time when Washington didn't have a team. They had a team in the 60s and the early 70s, but then they moved, and then we were without a team. So I grew up rooting for the Orioles, and I still want them to do good, but my team is the Nationals. So yeah.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Listen, if anybody has heard our conversations before, we go back and forth. We could talk about football all day and sports
Oh
all
yeah,
day.
we could. It's been a lot happening. So, a big year, a lot of going on. Some things I'm not happy about. I'll just say
Yeah.
that with the state of college football.
Yep.
But at the same time, I know things are always changing and evolving. So, that's where we are, right?
Yeah, that is, and we could do a whole many podcasts just on that.
We need to do one because I know you're a Penn State fan.
I am.
Y'all laid the woodshed to us and to my Auburn Tigers, but we need to talk about that one day and just have a little fun to talk
Yeah,
about your thoughts on some things in college football and where I see things as a whole
yeah.
and just the competitive nature of the fun sports. So that'd be fun.
Well, while as entertaining that will be for us, you and I are also very passionate about online ministry, and you and I have
Absolutely.
been doing online ministry for a really long time.
Mhm.
And so, in case somebody has not heard our conversations or they don't follow you on Twitter right now, talk to us real quick. Share us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and how you got started.
Yeah, so I am Sly King. Of course, I am in Birmingham, Alabama. We have really three campuses, getting ready to launch two additional ones in the Easter weekend thing that we're going to be doing. But we have a campus in Birmingham and Bessemer that's outside of Birmingham. We have a campus in Anniston, Oxford area. We'll be launching a Mobile and a Huntsville campus, and of course our online campus. And I am now in the role as director of digital content. And so that is my role, which really deals with all the content that we are producing. We're producing a lot of original content. We had a Christmas animation for Christmas Eve on that Sunday, which was absolutely phenomenal. And I'm not saying that because I voiced one of the characters. I'm saying that because I had a chance to even see the finished product before it was over. And I chose not to see it. I wanted to wait until Sunday to experience it with everybody else. And I was literally blown away. Original music. It was just phenomenal. And then we're getting ready to do another Easter animation. So my role is going to be in the light of producing the products that we're going to be doing, original content that we're creating, whether it's vignettes that we'll be doing, some musical stuff that we'll be doing, other things that we'll be having that'll be materials for other ministries and things of that nature, and then just repurposing the content that we have, and then finding content that we need to be creating that's going to speak to those that need the information that's available, that's out there, to minister to people throughout the week, and all the things that we're working to do. So it's a lot of things that are on the table, but that is where my role is at this moment. And then on the other side is getting ready to launch the 24-hour prayer network. And that's going to be something that we'll be launching, where we'll be praying 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it won't be just the standing in front of a microphone and praying, and nothing wrong with that, but it has a lot of moving pieces to it that keeps not only your attention, but it just really, really, really just engages you to really just take that time to lean into prayer. And we do 24 hours at the backside of 21 days of prayer and fasting. And this is something we're going to be doing and launching. And so I am super excited about being in the role to really get that moving.
Yeah, dude. One of the things I've always enjoyed about our conversations is that every time you and I talk, you guys are always venturing into something different and you're always trying something new. Like
Mhm.
you're not just content with just, hey, let's just keep on doing it as we've been doing it. But you've been really passionate about that. And you've been passionate about taking what you do on Sunday and going all throughout the week on it and really kind of being a ministry 24/7, whether it's doing omni-channel stuff or sharing your content on other platforms and whatnot. But this prayer thing, I'm really excited about that. So let's get into it a little bit more.
Sure.
What drove what you guys are doing and your
So
thing?
at one point we did a 24-hour prayer that was a actual in-person 24-hour prayer service. And that was taxing, to say the least, but it was impactful. But then we decided to go in and create something that was a lot more engaging, that gave people the opportunity. And this is also, you got to remember, post-COVID, right? So you had to make a lot of changes on a lot of things you did in person, and during COVID, we ended up having to do a digital 24-hour prayer event. And that was like, this might be the route we need to go, because we were able to do some things creatively that we really weren't able to pull off as well as we wanted to in the in-person kind of experience. And so we decided to create an entire 24-hour prayer event that went from not just teaching, but meditation moments to worship moments to other elements that involve so many different pieces, that created a time where you could literally tune in, and you wouldn't realize at the time it gone by so fast, because it had so many other elements to it that allowed you to experience the teaching on different prayer topics, the opportunity to even have the meditation time, all these other things that we had that really and truly engaged a lot of people. And the response was really, really great too, which we found to be, phenomenal, because we were able to reach people even at a broader spectrum. And now even working to invite other ministries that we know, and others as well, to have their opportunity to be a part of it too. So it's right now a thing that, I'm excited, because we're building this on the ground floor, and really laying out the foundation of what it's going to look like. But we all know prayer is important. We've been doing a 7 a.m. prayer call since COVID started, and it's been something we continue to do every day. We get upwards of 300 to 400 people that log in and join us every morning at 7 a.m. on a prayer call. So we're going to take that and then allow that to be a part of what we still do. But for 7 days out of the week, Monday through Sunday, we're going to have that prayer channel going, and it's going to be constantly going. And people will be able to call in. We have a prayer number that people can call in to get prayer. And that's why I'm working to create ways that we can engage people that are tuning in to get prayer, that need other ministry outside of just being a part of the prayer service, being able to, hey, how can we help you and walk through whatever it is you may be dealing with?
Dude, this is awesome because what I'm encouraged by is that so many people did stuff during COVID. And again, you and I have been doing online ministry even before COVID started
Mhm.
with our churches. But so many churches would start these online things during COVID, like a prayer call online. But then once you could meet back in person, once the real threat of COVID went away, they would stop and say, okay, we're just going to go back to in-person stuff. But no, you guys said, hey, not only are we going to continue this, but how can we kind of lean into this more? How can we
Mhm.
take advantage of this more? Because obviously people want to be praying, they want to be prayed for. And so this is like really encouraging to hear that you're like, hey, we're not just going to keep it to this prayer call where hundreds of people are coming, but
Right.
we're going to go and try to do this every single day. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because it's important. Prayer is so vital. And, that's the one thing, well, many things that can bring people together, but that's one thing that everybody can truly come together in one accord and pray.
yeah,
Imagine if we're able to get every church around the nation to come together and pray, not just on National Day of Prayer, but come together and pray. Imagine the power that we're able to have at that time and that moment to not just have a pocket of people praying, but you have thousands of people praying. That is powerful. And that's what this opportunity gives us to engage people in that space and then also bridge the gap because it doesn't matter where you're from, no matter where you are connected to as it relates to your church, but we serve one Christ. you know, we can come together and pray as a body. That's powerful. That's where you begin to see a fire begin to break out and revival break out. And it's just important that we bridge that gap that a lot of times is stifled off because of, you know, it's not this church you're not connected to and so forth and so on. That part doesn't matter. We're trying to bring an opportunity for people to come together. And that's what's exciting about it. And it is going to be a daunting task because it's a lot of content. However, it is something that is definitely going to be impactful for the big part of what we're doing to reach the people in the kingdom. So
now when you do your prayer call, do you feel like those people are local to you, or are they more spread out?
they're more spread out. We have local people, yes, but we get people that tune in and will dial in every day from all parts of the country because they were a part of it during COVID and it's continued.
Yeah,
And we get people that come from all over the place, that tune in. And some of the people are the same ones who join us from our online campus on Sundays. Whether it's New York, whether it's LA, whether it's any part of the country, we get people to tune in and dial in and join us for prayer. So that's important because we're finding that people have a need in that space and they want to be around people that can lift up whatever that need may be, but also be on one accord and really and truly be diligent about doing what we are called to do.
yeah.
And that's what it is. I know the other stuff is great, but we are called to pray. And so that's a big part of seeing the impact that just that is having and has had since we've been doing it.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about the prayer stuff, 7 days a week and whatnot. What will it look like? Will people call in? Will people access it through a smartphone? What will that look like?
So this will be accessed through whatever digital device you have. It will be something you can literally watch. Now you can have it on in the background, but you'll be able to really right now. My goal is really for it to be streamed on YouTube, but you'll be able to access that through our app. You'll be able to access it in any number of areas that we send a link that you can access it to. You'll be able to pull it up, and it will be accessible in that space. You won't have to dial in. It'll just be literally you log in and it's on. I mean, no matter what time of the day it is, you tune in and it's on. And just how we did during 24 hours of prayer. Some people tuned in and they were on at 7 o'clock in the morning, maybe till 8 or so, and logged off and did what they had to do and maybe joined back for lunch and then came back, in the evening. I noticed even with the analytics, the ebbs and flows of when people were tuning in and when people were logging on it in some of the times of the day. And you could notice where that was. There was a little bit of a drop off at night, but you'd be surprised. There was a lot of people that were tuned in at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. You're going, wow, you thought it might have been a lower percentage, I think the number is about 82%, somewhere around 80% or so of the people that tuned in were on their digital phone.
Yeah.
So that shows you as well, the digital phone is where everybody really pretty much was. The percentage that was the lowest, you guessed it, the desktop. you know, that was the lowest amount, but there was tablets and phones, and you see that that means that people are taking it with them wherever they go, and that's what we have to do with how we're reaching people. If you're an online person and you're trying to fight that battle, people take this phone with them everywhere they go,
Yeah.
and that's where you need to be.
Yeah. And see, again, that's part of the reason why I love that you're doing it again, 24 hours. Again, the tendency might be thinking, oh, we're going to do it like 9 to 5 or something like that.
Hmm.
But the reality is that, and we saw this when we do our Christmas services, when we do Christmas Eve services, I take them and rebroadcast all throughout the week.
Hmm.
But I'll do it like every hour on the hour, because you never know when someone's going to watch it. And the reality is, what I've discovered is that there are people watching at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
And had I not had that being streamed, they may not have been able to be encouraged in that way. So the simple fact that you guys are doing, yes, it's a lot of work, but the reality is you never know when God's going to draw someone to that thing and be encouraged by what you're doing.
And Tom, the thing that I want you to also know, and I hope if, and I got to find the article, but it was a research article that followed, it was a research study that followed a group of people, various age groups, various ethnic backgrounds, and they had them like lay out and log their day. And they logged their entire day, you know, went to lunch or had to come home and do this, and I'm up 1 o'clock in the morning, I can't sleep, or this. There were so many people who were in that time frame and that wee hour of the day that were up for whatever the reason was, couldn't sleep, just really depressed or whatever. And it's like we think, okay, yeah, sure, daylight hours up until a certain point, that's when you need to be really honing in on things and getting things out via social media. But at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, there's some people who are up tossing and turning at night and are up on their phone. So it made me also see the importance of why having something for people in that time is so important. Now, you may not think spending money on advertising and doing ads or whatever during that time of the day is a good return on your investment. But if you really look at that kind of data and that research, it lets you know there's a need in that time. There's people who are up, there are people who need something during that time. And what better way to have somebody directed towards something, towards prayer? Imagine somebody who's, since we use Glue, who's online searching for something or whatever the case may be, and we get that person who is up at that time of the day and they get filtered to us, but we're able to actually provide them access to our 24-hour prayer network at that time that they're going through whatever it is they're going through. That's ministry.
Yeah.
Sunday is your nitrous oxide, your shot in the arm, 90 minutes, give or take, and that's all it is. But what happens throughout the rest of the week? How are you ministering to people throughout the rest of the week? How are you providing people tools that they need to walk through this life, that the challenges they face hit them all across different sides of their life? And that's where this digital stuff is important, because people are consuming stuff. You and I consume stuff every single day, all the time. And we also need to keep that in mind when it comes to the people that we are ministering to, that we need to also provide that opportunity, provide the alternative, provide the things that they need. There are churches all over this country who are doing great things. They've got tons of content, but what are you doing with it? Are you just sitting on it and it's just, on your website, on your bookstore somewhere, or it's in hard drives somewhere just sitting there? How could you take that sermon series, that content that you have, and cut that up and do some things with it and really get that in the hands of people that need it?
Yeah.
Those are things to think about.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% with you. I mean, again, I'm a huge advocate of the short form video right now, and we have been for years. because again, I just feel like people are scrolling through their phone all the time, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, YouTube,
Mhm.
or anything else, and they're consuming content. Why not be consuming godly content?
That's it.
Encourage and so let your content be used there so that as they're scrolling, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get encouragement today. And so it is a lot of work. But the reality is the benefits of what we're doing is we're countering culture with godly truth. And I really feel like by us investing like this, it's been really beneficial. Are we seeing huge expansion of numbers in our church services? No. But I can honestly say that we are encouraging believers all across the world because we are sharing this kind of content every single day, just like what you're doing. And I'm really excited about this prayer stuff that you're doing as well. Talk to us a little bit more about, like, as you're doing the prayer and whatnot, how else, like, are you trying to connect them to something else after that?
Mhm.
What's the
Yeah.
process there for that?
So sure, and I want to say this too, Tom, because you said something. I don't want to not say anything about this. One of the things that you said that made me also think about what is wrong with you creating some type of ad that you put out, that your pastor does it or whatever, and it goes out at 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's, you're scrolling through like you said people are, and it's somebody saying, "Hey, listen, I know you're up, not can't really sleep, you got a lot on your mind." And now it's like the infomercial you talk to and say, wait a minute, they're talking to me. It's like, yeah, I really do need to go ahead and buy this. So it's taking some of those same tactics and saying, get in the mindset of people who would be on at that time and create some things that would speak directly to that moment. And that allows you to really engage people and make people feel like, you know what, this is an alternative. They understand where I'm at, and it's just creating that opportunity. Now, to what you were mentioning, the plan that I'm working on when it comes to connecting people, it's giving people an opportunity to connect to the ministry, yes, but finding out how we can serve them and
Mm,
creating a discipleship type of funnel that will take people from one location in their response to another. It's just like when you do a survey and the survey says, hey, were you satisfied with your experience? Rate that on a scale or whatever, whatever. Well, based on your response, they will send you something based on what that response is. If it was bad, they say, okay, tell us why it was bad. And so you go through this campaign, and that's what I'm going to take people on. Take them on a campaign based upon what their response is, and funnel them to the right place to get them to what it is that they need. And it's great that our team's able to reach out to people and stuff, but imagine the influx of people that you may not be able to manage on a manual basis, if you will. So somebody picking up a phone at that time, but able to funnel people and really find out, okay, based on this person's response, they're in the need of this. So let's send them this, or let's make sure that when we contact them, we provide them with this. So it's really funneling people to where they need to be, and finding out what that need is and how we can serve that need. And so it's going from, hey, you're just a person online, to, okay, you're such and such, this is where you live, and this is the thing that's going on, and we want to find out how we can serve you and help you along this journey. Your journey may be simple as, hey, I just need somebody to stand in agreement with me on this, or maybe something a little bit deeper, and you need some additional tangible tools that we can equip you with.
yeah.
And everybody's not, you got to think about it, everybody is not biblically sound. I mean, there's stats out there that say we're in one of the most biblically illiterate times ever. So there's a lot of people who are not biblically sound that can just quote a scripture, right? But if you provide people with that stuff that they can look at and they can read, now you're having people where they can start decreeing, declaring, and speaking over their situation. They have tangible stuff that they can really arm themselves with. You're not going to send a football player, since we love the sport, out there in a football game where everybody else has pads on, helmet, and all this kind of stuff, and they're out there with just a t-shirt and shorts and expect them to be competitive. It's not going to happen and survive. I mean,
Yeah.
you're not going to do that. You're going to say, hey, you need this. You need to be equipped with this so you can go out onto the field and be competitive and survive and compete. So we've got to take that same approach and give people the stuff that they need to be equipped when they're facing those battles that they don't that don't hit them on a Sunday at 11 o'clock. It hits them Tuesday at 1 p.m., or Thursday at 1 o'clock in the morning. This is where you have to really start thinking that the ministry part of what we do for church truly is a 24-hour, 7 day a week type of thing.
Yeah.
It really is. So
Yeah, dude. Okay, you said two things that really I want to talk about real quick. One is the infomercial thing. Here's the deal. The infomercials, if they weren't effective, they wouldn't be done. There's a reason why they still do the infomercials. There's a reason why they have those QVC channels where they're selling real, because people buy them. I
it
mean,
works. It works. And they know. And here's the thing: a lot of those infomercials, Tom, are on at crazy hours of the day.
yeah,
Because they know somebody is up and they're going, you know, maybe I do need to buy this bowl set. Maybe I do need to get that. And they get if it didn't, just like anything else, if it didn't work, they wouldn't still be doing it. They
yep,
still do it. It still works. The QVC has been around all my life,
yep,
and it's still around.
yep,
So it's that thing that I always talk about is why we try to reinvent the wheel. Why do we try to go and do something? Well, we're the church. We're gonna do it different. You got to think about how people consume information and how you consume information, and finding out, what, maybe we need to take that same approach. You may have people, and the hard part is getting sometimes your leadership around you to get the picture and say, so you want us to do ads. Let me get this right. You want to do ads at 2:30 in the morning. Why do you? No, I'm not saying that don't want to do any throughout the other times of the day, but the saturation throughout the other times of the day are just literally all over the place,
yeah,
especially with the changes in algorithm and all these kinds of things. But there are people who at those times of the day are searching and looking, and they need something. And that is where you really are able to put things in perspective and say, you know what, let's look at this. Let's see. And studies are out there. And like I said, when I saw this study, I said, man, this speaks volumes. It's like the amount of adults in the United States and consuming and where people spend most of their time. 83% of the adults now are on YouTube.
yeah.
83% of adults. So you think about where things need to be, you need to be there.
Yeah.
It's like, so that's the thinking behind it. And that's why I think that, as you said it, those things have been done for years and they work.
Yeah. Well, and the second thing I want to hit on is I love your attitude, because usually when you're talking about, connecting people and whatnot, we get people's information and then we tell them, here, come to our church service, come to this, come to this, come to what we're offering. And what you said, and you said it all throughout, is how can we serve you? How can we help you? It's not of you come to us. It's we are going to you and we want to serve you. We want to equip you. We want to build you up in your faith. And I love that selfless attitude, because again, too many of us, when we can all get caught up into it, is like, oh, we're doing this so that we can increase our numbers, our numbers. No, it's God. We need to increase God
Yeah,
and
yeah.
raise people up. And so I love the simple fact you said, how can we serve you, so many times when you were talking about it. It just encouraged me so much.
Well, it's really simple to think about when you look at the life of Jesus and you say, okay, what did he come here to do? He came to serve. So what makes you think we're not supposed to do the same thing? Right? If he came to serve, then that's what we're here to do. And that's the important part about it. All that other stuff will come. But if you're able to serve people and people feel like there is a concern that you have for them, which it should be, and it's relatable, it's not a pressure type of thing, that is the impact that you can make. When you allow that to be how you lead with things with people, man, it changes everything about what you're dealing with, because people feel like they're not concerned about me as a number, they're concerned about me.
Mhm.
And that's what matters. People want to feel like, hey, I matter. I do matter to them. I'm not just somebody who just logged in as a number. And that's why, for me, being able to find a way to disciple these individuals and know who they are outside of, okay, yeah, so we had 1,200 people tune in and watch Sunday service online, but who are they?
Yeah.
And how do we capture those individuals and engage with them not just because they were online and we saw those numbers, but because we want to know who they are and if there's anything we can do for them. Imagine the response people get if they're tuned in and we're able to get a way to contact them, and they get some information from us reaching out and checking on them.
Yeah.
That's that is it totally will blow people away, because like, wait a minute, I think I tuned in Sunday and they're reaching out to me to check on me and see how I'm doing, and not asking me for something, but trying to find out what they can do for me. That that levels everything out.
Yeah. No, dude, it's so encouraging. And I'm really excited about see how it plays out down the road, and how God uses this to minister to people. Kind of as we're kind of wrapping up now, how else would you encourage people listening today with just about incorporating discipleship all throughout the week? How else would you encourage people?
I will tell you, one of the things that's important, and Tom, you probably dealt with this, I know I have, is you have to have buy-in, and you have to have an advocate there that can be the other voice to speak to where your vision is, and encourage you to understand that we are called to serve. And you are sitting on probably a lot of stuff that you have that could be something to bless people, not just on a Sunday. And Sunday is game day. Yes, it is. That is the game. That is the big day. But imagine the impact you can make throughout the week, and find out how you can do some things that are able to be done. And I'm not saying put yourself in a position where you're trying to figure out how to do this. Make sure it's something that is sustainable that you can do. But understand, there are systems out there that will allow you to do this efficiently and do it where it literally almost is a seamless process. So don't feel like it's something you got to come up with on your own. There are systems out here that allow you to get information from people and funnel people to where you want people to go. All you have to do is just work through the ins and outs of how the system works. But don't be discouraged. Understand that there is a calling that you have, and help those that are around you and the leadership that are around you to understand. Get stats and statistics, get numbers. Those things don't lie.
Yeah.
I'll share this with you because I did some research, and you may or may not have seen this in one of our groups. But do you know the number one thing that people are looking for, they're searching for on Google? And it's perfect for today because today is Valentine's Day. And it is higher than people, it's literally still higher than who is Jesus. 7,480,000 people are asking what is love.
Hmm.
So stats like that say there are people who are searching for these things. What happens if we find a way to take the stuff that we have that speaks to what people are looking for? So you get stats, you get information, do your research. It's good. And you may go in there, and I've learned this lesson. You may go in there and you may have everything you need. It may sound fantastic, but when you're talking about research, look at Pew Research. Do the stuff you need to find. There's so many things out there. There are things that we're connected to, Tom and myself, that literally have a plethora of people who can help you and say, hey, you need to get this, or make sure you download this, or go look at this research and get information that's out there. The Barner Group and all these people, they will give you stuff that you literally can take and put together, write it out, put a presentation together, get it on paper, and thoroughly talk through the stats, the information, and present that. That's like the gospel, right? I mean, we're going to read the Bible. The Bible says what it says, but when you're talking about 83% of the people of adults in the United States are using, YouTube, and then you got lower than that people on Facebook, and so forth and so on. You have stats and statistics that speak to why you were saying, hey, this is what we need to do. So I want to encourage you to do that. I always will help any way that I can. That's something I'm passionate about doing. But just know it's not something that you're alone in, because big picture is that we all are doing the same exact thing, and that is doing what we can to reach people for Christ. It's not about my church. It's not about Tom's church. It's about Jesus. And that's the goal. That's the number one goal overall. And that's the overarching theme. They may come from the West Coast, East Coast, or across the country, but we all have one goal, and that's to reach people for Christ. So, that's my 2 cents
Yeah, I
on
love
that
it.
piece.
And you know, I may have talked about this before, but I've definitely shared this on the podcast before of there's never been a better community of ministers than the online community. I really believe this online community of ministers, they want to help. They want to
Hmm.
encourage you. Anytime I talk to Sly, he wants to share stories and encourage each other. Or I talk to other online ministers, they're so open to share. It's not like, hey, this is mine. We're doing this. We
Yep,
don't
yep.
want you to do that. You know, we're like, what can we do to give? And so again, if you've got a question for Sly, Sly's going to share his information in just a second, but hit him up. He will respond to you. He's very active on Twitter, so you
Yeah.
definitely want to talk to him on Twitter too. But again, hit him up or hit up one of the other online ministers. They are always open to share resources and share encouragement. That's what I
That,
really get excited about.
and that's so true, Tom, because I will say this, I have noticed and I've seen the difference, and it's almost sad. And not saying all, because there are physical churches and pastors who will share, who are open to share, who are not like that. But I see and I've seen so much camaraderie and selflessness and people that are just not about themselves. In this group, there are people, man, it doesn't matter where you are, they will find a way to help you if they can. And they will literally just pour into whatever they can to you. And we are people that work together and just say, hey, man, if I can help you with something, hey, have you thought about doing this? Or, hey, I did this, that may not have worked. And I see so much camaraderie in this space that I wish it translated as well as it does to, other parts of the church as it is online, because it is phenomenal.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah, 100%. Well, Sly, share with people how they can connect with you.
Sure, you can reach me easily. Now, I will say this: email. I always check my email, and that would be easy to check. You can email me. My name S King, SKING, at the Worship Center CC.org. S King at the Worship Center CC.org. You can email me there, on Twitter at I am Sly King. Reach out to me. You got a question about something. Maybe you need some clarity on something. Maybe you're getting ready to do something. You have this big idea and you're afraid to kind of present that, and you're not really sure how to approach that, what steps you need to take with dealing with leadership and getting that kind of stuff. Reach out. I'll give you anything I can do to help you.
Yeah. And he will reach out. If you reach out to him, he will help you. And I know that in our many conversations, we talk not just on the podcast, but outside of this as well. And he's a great resource. So if you need help and encouragement, talk to Sly. He'll always lift you up while he's also talking about Auburn football.
Yes, yes, I will. I will. I'm a diehard fan, so I'm not a fly by night kind of guy. I will ride with my team, good and
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. Well, Sly, as always, it's great talking to you. So thanks so much for joining me today.
Hey, Tom, thank you. I appreciate it, man, and God bless.
All right, so what did you think of the conversation? What did you think about what Sly had to say? You know, again, as I said earlier in the interview, like having Sly on just really encourages me because his church and his ministry, they're always looking for something new and something to do so they can minister and serve the people. I hope you got that. They're looking to serve them. They're not looking for them to come to them in their church, in their online stuff. They're looking to serve them and equip them wherever they are. And that's just such a huge mindset to have. And I hope it really challenges us to say, hey, how can we do this? Again, we may never see an increase in our church attendance numbers, but we know people are being encouraged in their faith. So I want to encourage you, keep that mindset and look for opportunities like what Sly's doing with the prayer stuff that they're doing. How can you do something similar with your church or your ministry? So I want to encourage you to do that. I want to encourage you to ask questions. Put in the comment section. Hit us up on Twitter. Sly's got Twitter. I've got Twitter. We would love to carry this conversation on a little bit more online. All right, heroes. Well, thanks so much for being with me today. As always, if you enjoyed the podcast, go and subscribe to it. It's on YouTube. It's on Facebook groups. It's on Apple, Spotify, Amazon. It's on all those platforms. Subscribe to it, and you'll get these every single time they come out. Well, heroes, I hope you have a great rest of your day, a great rest of your week. And until next time, have a great one.